What's up everybody, this is Backlog Gaming and today's video is going to be about AAA VR. The specific episode is going to focus around Elite Dangerous that's developed by Frontier Developments. Now Elite Dangerous is already out on Steam and it is a space rogue-like game to where you're going around in space. They have an arena and tons of modes with an expansion that came out. Now please be aware that this is only for the HTC Vive, but what we're going to be seeing in this video is obviously some footage of the game, and we're also going to be seeing some of their website, seeing what it's all about, some kind of write-ups about it, where it's going, and from there my impressions on why I think it's a AAA VR game. So if that's something that you're interested in, stay tuned. So without further ado, let's get into the trailer and see what this game has to offer.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
Graphics look amazing. I don't know if this is CGI or in-game though. Looks like it's somewhat in-game. Got rovers. Hover carts, drones. Dang. Oh, and they're gone. Wow. Alright, so we're going to pause that right off the bat, guys. Graphics look amazing. I do believe after seeing the whole trailer that that was not CGI. That was actual gameplay footage that we were seeing. I wish they would have said so at the beginning of the trailer so you kind of know what to expect. We get this epic speech at the beginning, which is always good for any type of space exploration game. But where it really starts to take off, and the first big change is that you can land on planets. I don't know if that was doable in the first part, but you can also drive a buggy, and you kind of see the buggy winding up here, and then it comes out. Buggy racing would be awesome if they have some type of race course built. Now, there was a part in the trailer right here where I thought there might be an alien presence. I don't know what the green lighting is or anything like that, but I was thinking, like, how cool would it be, because this game's very vast on its exploration, that you'd be able to run into different aliens and creatures that could be harmful to you, that could damage your ship or cause harm to your body or your character itself, to where you would have to escape out of there or use weaponry to fight off. But it looks like you're able to basically have fights to where your crafts can attack buggies. Drones were obviously launched. There's obviously some PvP here shown in the trailer too, with turrets on these Dune type buggies, so you are able to shoot with the turrets on the Dune buggies. It looks all interesting. So I'm here on Elite Dangerous's website getting a deeper look into what exactly Elite Dangerous is, and from there let's have a look. Elite Dangerous is going to be a space type game with spaceships, to where you can do a wide range, and this website probably won't cover everything that you can do, but we're going to focus on two sections. The first section is going to be gameplay, and they have another section which is made for VR that when I took a glance at, there was something a little bit alarming to me personally about the requirements that they have and how insane they can be. But with VR, we understand it's very taxing, but before we get to that, let's focus on the gameplay and see what Elite Dangerous brings to the table when we're talking about VR, when we're talking about gameplay itself, and from there, its presentation on its engine and everything. So you can play your way. They have 400 billion star systems with infinite freedom, blaze your own trail. So you can talk more about the galaxy. So if we take a look here, let's go into more about our galaxy. So Elite Dangerous players are the first people to experience interstellar travel. The sky is not a painted backdrop. You can travel to each and every star you see. So keep that in mind. They kind of give a graph down here. Maybe these are different planets that you can travel to. Then they have actual individual planets. Now for Planetary Landings, we're extended the simulation so further. We take into account the factors that govern the formation of planets. So you're apparently going to be able to go down to a sub-level of the actual planet, land your ship, and maybe be able to walk around with the exploration. Now, this game's still early access. I don't know if this factor is still in the game or not. Their screenshots don't look near as good graphically as the other ones do that are more polished. So let's back out here. So influence the connected galaxy. Do whatever it takes to earn the skill, knowledge, and wealth and power to stand among the ranks of the elite. So travel through the galaxy between the giant starport trading hubs where you can buy new ships, trade, and take on missions to upgrade your special spacecraft. Now, this game's been out for a while. It does have its following that is playing it, and they do have an expansion releasing also, or it might be already out to my understanding. But let's just take a look here about trading, combat, and explore. So if you're trading, obviously you can trade supplies with individuals. They go into great detail about that. We can also explore. So if you want to just go out and explore and not worry about stuff, hopefully you don't have to worry about fuel too much and those needs to kind of dampen you. But there's 400 billion star systems of the Milky Way are the stage for Elite Dangerous. So 400 billion star areas. That's a lot. That means you're going to be able to go visit these places, and there's going to be a lot of exploration content in the game, and content always equals hours played, which enhances gameplay sometimes. But to experience certain things, I'm sure there will be tons of YouTubers out there making video content or streaming this content when they are in VR to visit those odd off places and hopefully discover something new that nobody else has seen before. Also, what they have down below is combat. You're going to be able to fight one ship and or another and have a combat. So you may run into a hostile situation to where you may have to defend yourself. So arming your ship's is going to be just as important as the ship itself and its defenses. So keep that in mind when you're playing Elite Dangerous. So from there, let's back up here a couple pages. There's the Shipyard. This is where your fleet of ships are. Every component, as you hunt, explore, fight, mine, smuggle, and trade, you can customize all of it. So depending on what suiting your needs for whatever ship you're using, let's say you need a big hauling ship, you need to go out and get supplies, and maybe you'll be doing a lot of trade routing. Then from there you can pick that stuff up, but just be aware that maybe you're sacrificing some offensive. So maybe somebody comes up and decides to attack you. You have to really think and plan accordingly when you're flying out there. The Pilots of the Federation. As a member of the Pilots Federation, your piloting skills and strategies are rewarded with credits and progression towards the ranks of the galaxy's iconic elite. So there's going to be some form of progression system in the game, probably leveling up. So you can play with friends or you can play alone. Experience unpredictable encounters with players from around the world in Elite Dangerous, massively multiplayer space. Fly alone or with friends in a connected galaxy where every pilot and face could become a trusted ally or your deadliest enemy. So keep that in mind. It's massively multiplayer game, so there's tons of people in this game. Community we're not really going to cover because obviously the community of the game is going to be defined by the game itself. You don't know what you may get with the community. Close quarters combat, they did make an arena mode. I do have a trailer reaction already on this channel with that trailer announcement. So it's more of their PvP. And of course, they have the power play where you can choose your alliance or allegiance, how they word it, whoever you want to be with. So I haven't dived too much into that, but obviously you're going to have some form of story circulated around, and there may be role players that have a problem with you, depending on who you pick. So it could bring another aspect of gaming that we haven't really seen 100% across the board, or even a small smidge of in MMORPGs at least. So let's head over here to Made for VR. So this is designed from the ground up to support virtual reality and 4K Ultra HD display technology. So if you are one of the people that maybe not doing VR, but you can also do 4K with this. Now, I'm one of the VR individuals. Now, something that is a little dampering to me is if we arrow down, they're going to go ahead. The world's leading AAA VR game. So right there, you guys see it. 4K Ultra HD. So VR system requirements. Now, here's where I even run into an issue with my 7. I mean, not my system, not my i7. The i7 that they are requiring is an Intel Core i7 3770 or the 3770K. So that means it can be overclocked because it's unlocked, or the AMD FX 4350. Now, I don't know if these are the HTC Vive specs because I haven't looked those up fully, and the specs for the Oculus might be a little bit lower for some reason that I don't know. I do know that the specs listed here are higher than what the normal specs for actual Oculus Rift has said for their system that they recommend. From their 16 gigabytes of RAM and the GTX 980. My system has a GTX 970. That would be a small smidge. I only have a 2600K i7, so I may have to overclock my processor on that regard. But 16 gigabytes of RAM, I do believe that my system has just 16. If the game is demanding 16, you should probably have more than 16. So 24 or 32 respectively. So when I see that, that's kind of a dampering. So my system that I consider to be somewhat top-end enthusiast level, possibly could struggle at running this in VR. Keep that in mind, that dampens its market, but we all know VR is very taxing, so who knows how well it would be. If they're recommending this, I'd probably meet the requirement, I would say, but for recommended settings, they really want to push that VR headset to its full potential and be the best VR game that it can possibly be, but you're limiting yourself with those specs. That right there, those are some pretty beefy specs that you guys have put out there. Not that it's a negative thing, it just could dampen your market. Even individuals that can run VR may dampen them, but it's not going to deter me away from making a decision on the game. Overall, my impressions of Elite Dangerous have been, I've heard good things about it from friends personally in my life. I've heard people saying they want to pick it up when it's on sale. So from here, what we're seeing is the graphics of this game are ridiculous. The gameplay is there. It's deep gameplay. And it's going to utilize the headset to the best of its capabilities. So it's really trying to drive home that it is a AAA title for VR. I do agree with them. It is. The only negative thing that I could say about this game is that the requirements for VR are very, very high. Even higher than the original entry market to VR, so you need a very, very top-end system to play this type of game. So keep that in mind when you're looking at games, to always check the specs, especially virtual reality specs, because if you start dropping frames, that breaks immersion. You start dropping frames, that contributes to motion sickness. And I don't want you paying $40 or $60 for a game to where you're becoming sick while playing it. Right now, I do believe Elite Dangerous is still in early access. You can purchase it now on Steam, and if you wanted to pick it up, I recommend always looking for a sale. There's sales all across the internet that you can look for to find the best deal possible, and that's what I always personally do, is that I just don't see it in one area and click buy, search for a cheaper price, That's my #1 recommendation, as always. Anyways, guys, that's it for this episode of AAA VR. Just a few things here. Comment down below if you have any suggestions for games. If you have any insight on Elite Dangerous that might be important to other individuals that I didn't even cover in this video or I skipped over accidentally, go ahead and put those down below, because people read the comments, and if they see that, then they may be more lured to participating with this game. From there, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, guys, please share this video. If you could go out on Twitter and just tweet this video if you liked it and it's linked to your Twitter, that's even better. I always like seeing that interaction. Tweet at the developer, tweet at the game's Twitter account. If you tag me in with Backlog_gaming, from there I will go ahead and retweet your tweet to try and generate some buzz about VR. That's the overall goal of this video series, is to show people that there are AAA titles for VR, and not just a few. There's actually a lot if you sit there and look, but you're going to have to be willing to try something new, and they're all going to be all across different genres. So me right now, I really don't play quote-unquote walking simulators, but someday I may. I don't really play space games, but I'm interested with VR. So you can see how it works, that other people may be the same way. They may see something that, like, say, oh, that catches my eye, I like that, I want to try that at least. That's what we're going for, try and generate that buzz. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. I'll see you next time.